The slightest change in her expression, the tiniest fracture, before it was sealed up again, her face an impenetrable mask. Scowling, Riaz was about to tell her exactly what he thought of her and her judgmental gaze when his cell phone rang. He answered without moving an inch away from the woman who was sandpaper across his temper, rubbing him raw with her mere presence.
Yeah? My office, Hawk said. Need you to head out, do a pickup. Be there in 2.
Snapping the phone shut, he closed the remaining distance between him and Adria, forcing her to tip back her head.
We will,
he said, realizing those striking blue eyes with an edge of purple had streaks of gold running through them, beautiful and exotic.
Continue this later.
That was when Adria's cell phone rang. Yes, she answered, without breaking eye contact with the big muscled wolf who thought he could intimidate her.
In my office, Hawk ordered.
On my way. Hanging up, she raised an eyebrow at Riaz in a consciously insolent action. My alpha has requested my presence, so get out of my fucking way, she said with utmost sweetness. Eyes of beaten gold narrowed.
Guess we'll be walking together.
Not giving an inch until he stepped back and turned to head to Hawk's office, she walked in silence beside him, though her wolf bared its teeth, hungry to draw blood, to bite and claw and mark. Damn him. Damn him. She'd been doing fine, coping after her final separation from Martin. That had been a bloody battle, too.
You'll come crawling back to me. Maybe I'll be waiting. Maybe I won't.
Adria stifled a raw laugh. Martin didn't understand that it was over. Done. It had been over the night a year ago when he'd stormed out of their home, not to return for 4 months. The truly stunning thing was that he'd had the gall to be shocked when she'd told him to find someplace else to sleep and slammed the door in his face.
Cat got your tongue?
An acerbic comment made in a deep male voice that ruffled her fur the wrong way.
Go bite yourself,
she muttered, in no mood to play games. Her skin felt too sensitive, as if she'd lost a protective layer, her blood too hot.
Someone should bite you,
Riaz responded in a near snarl.
Pull that stick out of your ass at the same time.
Adria growled just as they reached the open door to Hawk's office. The alpha looked up at their entrance, open speculation in blue eyes so pale they were those of a wolf given human form. However, when he spoke, his words were pragmatic.
You 2 free to go for a drive?
Adria nodded, saw Riaz do the same beside her.
What do you need done?
He asked, his tone far calmer than the one he'd leveled at her.
Mac and one of his trainee techs went up to do a routine service of the hydro station,
Hawk told them, shoving back strands of hair the silver gold of his pelt in wolf form.
But their vehicle's not starting, and they've got components that need to be brought back to the den for repairs.
No problem, Riaz said.
I'll take one of the SUVs, pick them up.
Even as Adria was thinking the task was a one-person job, Hawk turned to her.
You're now one of the most senior people in the den.
His dominance was staggering, demanding her wolf's absolute attention.
I'd like you to get reacquainted with the region, given that you haven't spent an extended period of time here since you turned 18.
She nodded.
I'll ask Riley and Eli to work some time into my shift schedule.
It was a necessary detour from her normal duties. Falling just below the lieutenants in the hierarchy, senior soldiers were often called upon to lead, and as a leader she had to know every inch of this land, not only the section she'd been assigned to during the battle.
It'd be better if I do it on foot.
She'd see, scent, so much more.
You can explore in detail later on. I want you to have a good working knowledge of the area as soon as possible.
He handed her a thin plas map.
The trip up to the hydro station will take you through some critical sections, and you have certification in auto mechanics, correct?
Yes. It had been an interest she'd turned into the secondary qualification all soldiers were required to possess. Later, it had kept her sane, the ability to fix broken...